students, today I am going to start the new lesson, motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. Before going deep in the chapter, we will want to discuss more about the basic concept of this chapter, that is, what is motion? We know that when any object changes its position with respect to its surrounding with time, then the object is said to be in motion. And what is rest? When any object does not changes its position with respect to its surrounding with time, then the object does not called is in motion, that can be assumed in rest position. It means, I repeat that, when any object does not changes with its position with respect to its surrounding, then the object is said to be in rest position. Okay. Now, motion and rest both are related to each other. One object that can be in rest position in one frame of reference, that can be assumed, that can be appears in motion with respect to or in the another frame of reference. For example, suppose that you are sitting in the bus, then persons sitting in the bus seems observe that you are at rest with respect to themselves, but the person standing on the road observe that you are in motion. So you are at rest with respect to the person sitting in the bus, but you are in motion with respect to the person standing on the road. So there are two different positions or criteria to describe the position of motion and rest. Both conditions can be assumed with respect to the surroundings position. If you are changing your position with respect to your surrounding with time, then you are said to be in motion, and if you are does not changing your position with respect to your surrounding with time, then you are assumed to be in at rest. Okay. Now, what is point mass object? Point mass object. If any object travels large distance as compared to the size of that object, suppose that a car traveling 400 kilometer along any road, and the size of the car is 2 meter, then in comparison to that large distance, the size of the car is to be assumed as point mass object. Okay. Now, what is type? How many types of motion? Types of motion. There are three types of motion. First, one-dimensional motion. Second is two-dimensional motion, and third one is three-dimensional motion. If any object changes only one out of three coordinates which specifies the positions of the object with respect to that surrounding, then the motion of that object is known as one-dimensional motion. It means, suppose that in three-dimensional space, the position of any object can be specified by the three coordinates x, y and z. If only one out of three, it means either x or either y or z, only one out of these three is changes with respect to time, and it is observed that the only one out of the three coordinates which can be specifies the position of the object changes with respect to time, then the object is said to be in one-dimensional motion. But if two out of the three coordinates which specifies the position of the object changes with respect to time, then the object is said to be in two-dimensional motion. But if all the three coordinates changes with respect to time and all the three coordinates that specifies the position of the object changes with respect to time, then the object is said to be in three-dimensional motion. For example, one-dimensional motion, suppose that any object falling under gravity, then it can changes only along y direction, vertical direction, and horizontal, two perpendicular horizontal direction, left and outward. They are not changing with respect to time. Only y-axis changes its position, x and z-axis are not changing its position or its coordinate with respect to time. So the motion created by the object falling under gravity is example of the one-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion on a plane, when any object travels on a circular track or move on a plane, then object changes two of its coordinate, x and y axis or x and z axis. Y axis does not change with respect to time. So two of the three coordinates which specifies the position of object changes with time. So such type of motion, such type of example, motion in a plane, projectile motion, circular motion, etc., they are of example of the two-dimensional motion. If birds flying in the sky, the motion of a plane, etc., are the example of three-dimensional motion, because all the three coordinate axes can be changed with respect to time by the object. Okay, so this is all about the types of motion. Now, fourth, what is speed? Speed. When any object changes with respect to changes its position with respect to time, then what is the rate of changing of position? That is known as speed. The rate of change of position of any object with respect to time is known as speed. Speed is a scalar quantity, its unit is meter per second. Okay, they can be further classified into average speed, instantaneous speed. Okay, what is average speed? The total distance traveled by any object divided by total time taken to travel that distance is known as the average speed. And the instantaneous speed, the speed of any object at any instant of time, that is known as instantaneous speed. Now next is velocity. What is velocity? The total displacement created by the object during motion. It means when any object starts its motion from one position to another position. Suppose that any car starts its motion from position A and reached at a position B, then it can take different types of tracks. Suppose that track number 1, track number 2 and track number 3. Suppose that track number 3 is a straight line. So this is the shortest distance between the two positions of the object A and B. Straight line joining from two positions of the object, that is known as displacement. It means the object going from A reaches at point B. So the line joining from A to B provides the displacement. The magnitude of this length is magnitude of the displacement, and the direction of the line joining from A to B is the direction of the displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity. So when an object moves from A and reached at point B, then how much time is taken? So by what rate object reaches at B? The rate of change of displacement is known as velocity. This is a vector quantity. It contains direction and its unit is also meter per second. So this is all about the velocity. Velocity is also two types, average velocity and instantaneous velocity. So instantaneous velocity means the velocity of any object at any instant of time, and the average velocity means total displacement created divided by total time taken. total displacement created by total time taken, that is known as average velocity. If any object travels with different magnitude of velocity, suppose that any object moves from A to B, but it goes A to C with V1 meter per second and C to B with V2 meter per second. This is the velocity of the object during going from A to B. Between A to C, it moves with a velocity of V1, and C to B, it moves with a velocity of V2. Then what will be the average velocity in this condition? The average velocity of the object during going from A to B will be twice of V1 V2 divided by V1 plus V2. This is a simple formula for the average velocity. Okay, so these are the basic concepts. One more concept is acceleration. What is acceleration? The rate of change of velocity of any object is known as acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration, average acceleration is also. So this is the basic concept, and it is important to know what are these meanings. Okay. Now for describing the motion, that is what will be the velocity of any object after time t, if the initial speed is u and the acceleration, constant acceleration or uniform acceleration acting on the object is a, then how much distance travelled by object in time t, and what will be the velocity attained by that object in time t. So all these questions can be arised, and you can find out all these values with the help of three different equations, that is known as equations of motion, in which first equation of motion is v equal to u plus at, and second is s equal to ut plus half of at square, and third one is v square equal to u square plus 2as. You can derive all these three equations with the help of graph and also by integration method. Let us see by integration method, derivation of these equations by integration method. We know that the acceleration acting on any object, the uniform acceleration acting on any object can be defined as the rate of change of velocity. Okay. So this can be rewritten as a dot dt equal to dv. If we integrate this with respect to partial variable, that is v and t, that is 0 to t a t equal to, at time t the initial velocity of the object is u and final velocity becomes t at time t, that is written as integration u to v dv. So since acceleration acting on the object is constant, so it can be taken outside from integration, and integration of dt becomes t, lower limit is 0 and upper limit is t, and here the integration of dv becomes v, lower limit is u and upper limit is v. So after putting the upper limit, then minus of lower limit, t minus 0, that is t, then this becomes at equal to, here at place of v, first we put the upper limit value v, then minus of lower limit, that is u, then this becomes u minus v. So from here we get v equal to u plus at. This is the first equation. Okay. Now to derive the second equation, we assume that what will be the velocity, instantaneous velocity of the object. The instantaneous velocity of any object can be defined as the rate of change of displacement, that is v equal to ds by dt. So this v can be defined as u plus at. So u plus at equal to ds by dt. Rearranging it, u plus at dot dt equal to ds. Integrating partially both sides, we get write ds first. Integration of ds equal to integration of u plus at dot dt. We know that when time is taken as 0, then displacement traveled by object is 0, suppose that, and after time t the object travels our total displacement s. Then integration of ds becomes s, then taking limit 0 to s, and here ut, it can be split in two different integrals, 0 to t u dot dt plus integration 0 to t at dot dt. From here we can find out, if we put the upper limit and lower limit, then we get s minus 0, that is equal to, from here we know that u is the initial velocity, that is constant, so u can be taken from outside, and integration of dt is t, taking lower limit as 0 and upper limit is t, plus a taken as constant because the object is moving under uniform acceleration, so this can be taken from outside, and the integration of t dot dt becomes t square by 2, taking limit 0 to t. So from here we get s equal to, if we put the upper limit as t and lower limit at 0, then we get s equal to ut plus, from here 1 by 2 taken outside a, and putting t on the place of t and 0 on place of t, then we got t square. So this is the second equation. All these equations are known as kinetic equations. So from here we can easily derive all these three equations. Now if you want to derive the third equation of motion, then we can again assume the concept A equal to dv by dt. It can be rewritten as dv by ds, dv by ds dot ds by dt. That can be written as ds by dt dot dv by ds, that is v, rate of change of displacement, that is v dot dv by ds. This is the value of a. Rearranging it, we get a dot ds equal to v dot dv. If we integrate partially both sides, then we get integration a dot ds equal to integration v dot dv. When the initial velocity of the object is u, then the total displacement travelled by object is taken as 0, and when object achieves a velocity v, then the total displacement created by object becomes s. So after applying this, we got a can be taken outside from the integration because a is constant or uniform, hence integration of ds becomes s, taking limit 0 to s, equal to here v dot dv, that is v power 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus 1, that is v square by 2 u to v. So from here we got taking upper limit and lower limit, we got as, and also from here taking upper limit and lower limit, v square minus u square by 2. So from here we got 2as equal to v square minus u square, or v square equal to u square plus 2as. So from here we can easily find out what will be the relation between the uv and as, that provides the third kinetic equation for the motion of any object with uniform acceleration. Okay, all these three equations are very helpful to calculate. All these three kinetic equations are very useful to solving the different numerical problems. Okay, practice it for deriving it and understanding the concept of the derivation. Now you will be able to solve different types of numerical equations based on the kinematic motion. Okay, thank you.